That's crazy, isn't it? What are the odds?
Won't be supporting your kids at all. I don't know
Who says this? What a weirdo. Why is it only gay dudes and women with nose rings? I have no idea. And it's just really, really sad.
Capitalism is dominated by global companies.
Jesus, I can't even. Oh my.
It's official. I'm no longer just sad. I'm now
You'll need a
pissed.
top-notch team to win this one.
The Karen crash out is real.
Dazzling the diamond.
Like, this is really, really bad. Can you imagine if you're a Karen, how awful the last 3 years for you must have been? And it's just gonna get worse. How much do you guys want to bet that she probably makes jokes about Donald Trump being orange?
Every day in this country, something happens that is worse than the day before. Even when you didn't even think that was possible.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe for her it would make sense since it's like cultural appropriation.
I can afford everything else.
When they talked about flooding the zone, they weren't kidding.
Get ready.
It is just one horrible thing after another.
Yeah.
Good looks, business acumen.
Distractions are a con man's best friend.
Couple.
Is that right?
But what do you have that I don't, Emma?
Our rights are
Take
disappearing.
another look.
Uh-oh.
Do you really need to ask?
God, I fucking wish. It's not true, but I wish so much it was
Battle
true.
starts in 5,
Every day I say, please, God,
2, 1.
get rid of him.
All you need to do
Please.
is capture the mission area.
Please.
Got
Let
it?
today be the day.
I'm
Hair
Hellfire
is a
Club
scam.
royalty.
Uh-huh.
This
Wages are a
is
joke,
beneath me.
stuck in the 1990s.
Yeah.
And the people in charge don't care whether or not we live or die.
Yeah, that's right. And what are you going to do about it?
They become richer while we become poorer.
You're right. That's true. Make another TikTok. That's going to help.
They want us
Oh, yeah.
broke,
Yeah.
exhausted, and too busy trying to survive to fight back.
Let me guess. You're broken, exhausted. Yep.
They say
You have
we
to
don't
cut?
have money for school lunches, veterans, for people that need the help.
Yeah.
The,
Just plenty of money? I guess so.
they want to spend $200 million to build a ballroom at the White House.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I thought they said they weren't paying for
And they
that
spend
with tax
hundreds
dollars.
of thousands of dollars every day paying sad, pathetic little men.
We need to normalize the realization that these groups of people are the exact same as the 14-year-olds that like Andrew Tate because their mom is mean to them and makes them go to bed at 9 p.m. This is basically the female version of that.
You're halfway there. Keep going.
She's
cop-
fact adjacent. Yeah, adjacent.
They
Not
has-
necessarily, but you know.
Cops so that they can abduct people off the streets.
Next, it's gonna be you. We can only dream.
It's time to fight back.
Uh-oh, what are you gonna do?
It's time to stand up.
What are you gonna do?
It's time to get loud.
Which one's it gonna be? Which one's it gonna be?
And I don't know what that all looks like.
What else? Which one's it gonna be? Come on.
But they want us divided.
Come on.
They want us fighting
Come on.
amongst ourselves.
Yeah?
Because that way they can continue to line their pockets with all of our money
Uh-huh.
while we just become poor,
Okay. So it's I do oh,
less of a voice.
everyone does nothing. Okay, good. Yeah.
Enough is enough.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
If we don't all get off of the sidelines right now, there's not going to be anything left.
I was fine. Thank you.
That's number one. Didn't expect that. Ah, yep. Okay.
To fight for.
Yep, there it is. And talking so slow. You imagine how? Yeah, I guess so. And
Detention Center here on Macadam Avenue in Portland, Oregon. It is now 8:15, August 15th, 2025, and we're still out here.
why do they all have
Bunch
nose
of
rings?
people At 1 a.m.
Really? Don't have a job.
People. Say goodbye to a friend. Lots of fucking people are still out here. We're still going. They haven't tear gassed us yet tonight,
They should.
but they pepperballed us a lot, is what I heard. So while I was gone, they pepperballed a lot, and then here I am. Chinga la vida!
Bro, these people are just so fucking mentally ill. It is insane. I don't even know what to say. Like, this is where do all these people come from? I didn't even know there were this many of
You
them.
did your part, I suppose.
Yeah, the whitest. Yes, it's unbelievable. I don't know where they're coming from. It's insane, but I guess that's the way things are now, right? Yeah, Florida? I guess so. Oh my fucking god. We have entered into a new age of people getting mad. Attractive white women have completely broken the left. I would say attractive women, period. Yep, that's a fact. A lot of videos? No, she right. This has been going on for a while.
Any Sweeney ad is just another litmus test to see if people
Trump, big progress on Russia. Stay tuned. Apparently, there might actually be a peace deal with Ukraine. I'm kind of shocked to even hear this. But
You know, there is concern from the Europeans that President Zelensky is going to be bullied into signing something away. That's why you have these European leaders coming as
he's gonna
backup
get bullied. You're
tomorrow.
gonna beat him up.
Can you
No, it isn't. That's not why
reassure
they're
them?
coming us back. That's not true. No, but that's not that's not true. They're not coming here tomorrow to keep Zelensky from being bullied. They're
Well,
not
that
coming.
I love how she starts it off like, yeah, all the European leaders are coming to protect Zelensky from Trump beating him up. Oh, yeah.
They're coming here
in
tomorrow.
front of television cameras where President Zelensky.
Do you know how many meetings we've had since then?
Oh no, I know, and I was just up in
Yeah, but we
Alaska.
had a
No, you don't know. You don't know. You have no idea because you're a literal news broadcaster and he's the Secretary of State. No, you don't know.
The one with Vladimir Putin where a red carpet rolled
No,
out.
but it was Zelensky. We've had more meetings. We've had one meeting with Putin and like a dozen meetings with Zelensky. So
No shit. Wow, what a surprise.
but that's not true. They're not coming here
Why
tomorrow.
is the news telling him the news? That's a great question. That is an incredible question. Why is the news telling the Secretary of State the news? Why does journalists think they're politicians instead of reporters? Because for the last 15 years they have been.
To keep Zelensky from being bullied. They're coming here tomorrow because we've been working with the Europeans. We talked to them last week. There were meetings in the UK over the previous week.
And they said
The
President Trump was
president
going
talked
to
to
demand
his
a
leaders
ceasefire.
as early as Thursday. But you said that they're coming here tomorrow to keep Zelensky from being bullied. They're not coming here tomorrow. This is such a stupid media narrative that they're coming here tomorrow.
Bro. I love it. He just said, yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid. Total fucking bullshit. Preposterous or aggressive. Keep in mind that this is the same news broadcaster who said that one of the reasons why Nazi Germany came to power was because of freedom of speech. I'm not kidding you. She even said it in an interview with Marco Rubio. She's a retard.
Because Trump is going to bully Zelensky into a bad deal. We've been working with these people for weeks.
Yeah,
for
an
weeks on this
aggressive
stuff.
Karen, I know.
They're coming here tomorrow because they chose to come here tomorrow. We invited them.
Look it up. Yeah, I made a clip of it. Yeah, we talked about it when it happened.
to come.
yeah.
We invited them to come. The president invited them to come.
But the president told those European leaders last week that he wanted a ceasefire. The president went on television, said he would walk out of the meeting if Vladimir Putin didn't agree with one. He said there would be severe consequences if he didn't agree to one. He said he'd walk out in 2 minutes. He spent 3 hours talking to Vladimir Putin, and he did not get one. So there's
Because obviously things happened during that meeting. Well, because obviously things, look.
Wow, what a surprise that this binary thing that Trump said isn't actually as simple as he said it was. Why is she arguing? Because, again, the media is your enemy. She's arguing with the, like, wasn't Marco Rubio there in the room? Like, he knows what it is. Yeah, it's her job, literally. Well, it's not really. Like, I mean, she's not approaching this from any sort of a perspective of, oh, well, you know, I'm just trying to understand this better. No, I don't think so at all. It's very obvious. Whenever she's prepositioning the European leaders that are coming to the White House to protect Zelensky from Trump bullying Zelensky into giving Ukraine to Russia, like, this is not journalism, okay? It's propaganda. What are we doing here?
Tremble before fast, armed and dangerous.
You're making it complicated. She's arguing because she's a woman. Finally, somebody says it.
Enemies on approach. Here is not to stage some production for the world to say, oh, how dramatic, he walked out. Our goal here is to have a peace agreement, to end this war, okay? And obviously we felt, and I agreed, that there was enough progress, not a lot of progress, but enough progress made in those talks to allow us to move to the next phase. If not, we wouldn't be having Zelensky flying all the way over here. We wouldn't be having all the Europeans coming all the way over here. Now understand, and take with a grain of salt, I'm not saying we're on the verge of a peace deal, but I am saying that we saw movement, enough movement to justify a follow-up meeting with Zelensky and the Europeans.
What a logical, normal position that any reasonable person could have assumed that came out of the meeting. Yeah, duh. Fucking obviously.
Enough movement for us to dedicate even more time to this. You talk about the sanctions. Look, at the end of the day, if peace is not going to be possible here, and this is just going to continue on as a war, people will continue to die by the thousands. The president has that option to then come in and impose new sanctions. But if he did this now, the moment the president puts those additional sanctions, that's the end of the talks. So he's basically locked in at least another year.
Yeah. So they don't want to do that, because if they do that, then you don't want to play that card, because after you've played the card, you can't use it as leverage anymore. So if you can use that card as leverage to get what you want, then it's better to do that than play it and then have to deal with the fallout. I mean, this is common sense. Anybody knows this. I mean, this isn't some art of the deal, master fucking, like, wizard, galactic brain, 5-dimensional chess. It's just like anybody that plays Magic the Gathering knows this. You play Pokemon, you know this. Holy shit.
A year and a half of war and death and destruction. We may unfortunately wind up there, but we don't want to wind up there. We want to wind up with a peace deal that ends this war so Ukraine can go on with the rest of their lives and rebuild their country and be assured that this is never going to happen again. That's the goal here. We're going to do everything possible.
Of course. I mean, it's obviously good. And, okay, but what do you do when they actually follow through? Trump threatens everyone with tariffs and sanctions and follows through right away. He's now told Russia 3 times that they have a deadline. They missed it, so when does he actually do it? I don't know. I mean, the odds are, like, and this is the same thing that happened with Iran. Like, what I think will probably happen will either be that they will come to a resolution, or there will be an Iran situation. Now, what does that look like? Are we going to bomb Moscow? I think the chances of that are basically 0. It's not going to happen. But what I do think is going to happen is that we might empower Ukraine to do something that is, like offensive against Russia. I think that's possible. And they have nukes. Yeah, sure, right? But I think that's possible that it could happen. And delaying Russia for decades. Yeah, or they could use those tariffs. But you're right. Obviously, and also the reason why is that Trump can negotiate more strongly with those other countries based off of those countries' position. So and this is like, again, this is not a a comfortable reality, but it is a reality, is that Trump can bully around a small country like, I don't know, Pakistan, but he can't bully around a big country like Russia. Like, Russia is a much larger country, they have a much more involved military, etc. Or even Iran. He can bully Iran around all he wants. But again, if it's a big enough country, it's harder to do. That's why it's harder for him to do that with China and with Russia. You have nukes? Yeah, exactly.
Well, to make that happen, if it's doable, it will require both sides to make concessions. It will require both sides to get things they're asking for. That's how these deals are made, whether we like it or not.
He's totally right. He is. And it looks like, yeah, I'm glad that he's calling this out. I mean, this is a great thing. So, and this is even, Zelensky's even talking about it. It looks like things are changing. You've got it right here. He's meeting with all the different people. And, oh, here we go.
Vladimir Putin made. Can you name,
I was going to watch this.
Can you name any concessions that Vladimir Putin made during this meeting?
Why the fuck would he say this publicly? Are you kidding me? Oh my god, this is nuts. Just reveal the plans. Just tell us what's going to happen.
Have any
I wouldn't name them on the program.
Have any concessions been asked?
Why would I do that?
Where is the question?
Because you can't have a peace agreement. No, you can't have a peace agreement unless both sides give and get. You can't have a peace agreement unless both sides make concessions. That's a fact. That's true in virtually any negotiation. If not, it's just called surrender. And neither side is going to surrender. True. So both sides are going to have to make concessions. So of course concessions were asked. But what utility would there be of me going on a program and tell you we've wagged our finger at Putin and told him you must do this and you must do that? It's only going to make it harder and less likely that they're going to agree to this.
Exactly. And now I think this reveals what the media's true intent is. The media is an agitator. The media's goal is to agitate tensions and to create problems in the world in order for them to report on it. So basically, they plant the seeds of discontent, of, you know, like dishonesty or whatever. They want to ruin it for Trump. Exactly. Because think about the content that they're going to get if this peace deal breaks down. And then the war continues. Now you've got more people watching the news. So this is what I said before about how all these news companies are profit first, news second. So it is in their best interest for wars to continue. Don't ever let a news company tell you that they don't love mass shootings, or that they don't love terrorist attacks, or they don't love wars. There is nobody that benefits more from wars, terrorist attacks, and mass shootings than media companies do. That's it. That's the reason.
Things. So these negotiations, as much as everyone would love it to be a live pay-per-view event, these discussions only work best when they are conducted privately.
And this is why they crashed out on Zelensky. It's because he tried to do it publicly.
I am beyond everyone.
Serious negotiations in which people who have to go back and respond to constituencies.
Same with natural disasters, true.
Even totalitarian governments have constituencies they have to respond to.
Somebody says YouTube creators benefit a lot from it, probably more. You're right. And as a creator myself, it's like if there was a mass shooting or a nuclear bomb went off, it would make my viewership go up and I would make more money. That's true. This is a reality. And yeah, anything bad that happens, like if you think about like when was the last time somebody's viewership went up a lot? Well, probably the last time they got, you know, something crazy happen.
People have to go back and defend these agreements that they make, and so and figure out a way to explain them to people. So we need to create space for concessions to be made, but of course concessions were asked.
Yeah, obviously, fucking duh. Like 100% that's what happens. That's the one I'm gonna watch.
If at some point it becomes clear that both sides are so far apart and so dug in that we're just not near a peace deal, then the president will have a decision to make about how much more time do we invest in it and what actions does he take then. But I want everyone to understand, if this morning the president woke up and said, I'm putting these terrible, you know, strong sanctions on Russia, that's fine. It makes people feel good for a couple hours. But here's what you're basically saying. You're saying talks are over. for the foreseeable future, for the next year or year and a half, there's no more talks. Because there's no one else in the world that can talk to us. Okay? Putin's not going to meet with Macron. He's not going to meet with the UK. With all due respect to these leaders, none of these leaders are going to be able to bring him to the table and talk to them. There's only one leader in the world that has any chance of bringing these two sides together. If there is a chance, there's only one leader in the world that can do it, and that's President Trump. And you forfeit that role the minute you put additional sanctions on him. We may get to that point, unfortunately. But if we do, it means that peace talks are no longer possible. And that would be very unfortunate.
Yeah,
because the real world ramifications are that while we're here calling each other names and doing TV interviews about this stuff and all of that in American politics, there are people who today will be injured and killed in the battlefield and in cities.
I'm gonna be real. I've actually been really impressed by Marco Rubio. Like, I didn't know he had it in him. But, like, this dude is a guy that you want in your corner.
I am a true team
Like,
player.
yeah, bro, like, little Marco's come a long way. He's amazing. Yeah, I think he's great.
In Ukraine, on the front lines, and even in Russia. Even as we speak, people that have nothing to do with this war are suffering as a result of it. And I think we are very fortunate and blessed and should be thankful to have a president that has made peace and the achievement of peace a priority of his administration. We've seen it in Cambodia and Thailand. We've seen it in India, Pakistan. We've seen it in Rwanda and the DRC. And we're going to continue to pursue any opportunities we can find to bring about peace in the world.
I forgot all about the Cambodia, Thailand thing. I did, and it was them trying to if I remember right, it was them trying to, like, fucking retake some temple for Shiva or some fucking shit like that. I think that was it. And there was a big issue over this. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. That was a weekend. Yeah, I totally forgot about that little situation, right? And Ukraine's constitution, what is this here? Ukraine's constitution.
Successful in Donetsk region. Putin has been.
Okay, this is English. Let's listen to what he said.
Russia is still unsuccessful in Donetsk region. Putin has been unable to take it for 12 years.
Damn.
And the constitution of Ukraine.
I guess this is from Crimea.
It's impossible to give up territory or trade land. Since the territorial issue is so important, it should be discussed only by the leaders of Ukraine and Russia at the trilateral Ukraine, United States, Russia. So far, Russia gives no sign that trilateral will happen, and if Russia refuses, then new sanctions must follow.
Yeah, Ukraine's constitution forbids giving up land. Zelensky says any territorial talks must involve Russia, Ukraine, and the U.S. together. No back-channel deals, no handover. If Putin refuses, Zelensky wants the West to tighten the screws. More sanctions, more isolation. Yeah, in my opinion, I think that they're going to have to give up land. Zelensky firmly rejected handing over any Ukrainian territory, saying it's impossible under the Constitution. I really hate to say this, but I don't think that Putin or Trump give a fuck about the Ukrainian Constitution. They don't. And again, like, invaders hate him. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, he doesn't have... I don't think they really have the cards for this either. I mean, I'll have to disagree. Yeah. Oh, do you really? You think Putin cares about the Ukraine Constitution? Like, what are we talking about? Putin doesn't even care about Ukraine. You think he cares about the Constitution? Yeah, it's crazy. And so, no, he changed the Constitution 4 times since 2014. Well, I don't know. Ukraine doesn't give a fuck about Ukrainian Constitution. Well, I don't know about that. I have no idea. But Zelensky will not fly to Trump alone. And then, yeah, there's a bunch of other people that are coming. I mean, this really isn't that big of a surprise. And, yeah, this is pretty much the way things are going. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but in my opinion, I think the outcome for this is what my opinion is. The outcome is that Ukraine will end up giving up territory. I think this is where things are going to go. I could be wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. I don't think that should happen, but I think that will be the outcome. The media plays up the fact Trump censored Putin. Is that perhaps a fine negotiation? I think that's just the media trying to do media things. I don't think there's really anything that you can base that off of. You can't really go and be like, oh, wow, I can't believe this. They're just saying whatever the fuck they want. Do you think Ukraine should give up land?
I am born
Should is a nice idea, and it can be discussed all over Reddit. But when you have cities being destroyed, people being killed, and billions of dollars being poured into a war that effectively is just killing people, shoulds go away. Do you want my opinion? Should Ukraine give the land away? No. I think Russia's totally in the wrong. They're completely in the wrong. But that doesn't matter. They can be wrong as much as they want, but if they have the power to enforce it, then they're right.
Joining me now is Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Marco Rubio. Secretary Rubio, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Sadly, might make right.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So heading into the meeting with
You can see how happy he is. He's so happy. Oh, good.
President Putin on Friday, President Trump said he wanted a ceasefire agreement. Now he is saying he wants a broader peace deal. We know that Ukraine, we know that European allies want a ceasefire first. Is a ceasefire now off the table, Mr. Secretary?
No, he's not going to say it's off the table.
No, it's not off the table.
What a surprise. I can never imagine that. What a shock that he's not going to make a definitive statement when negotiations are already, like, duh. Like, fucking obviously.
I think what the president said, in fact, you just read it on the air.
Yeah, Neville Chamberlain had a peace agreement as well. You're right. You're absolutely right. But that has nothing to do with it. Like, I mean, again, like, my opinion on this, I've said it yesterday, I'll say it again, I don't want to go over it 50 times. My opinion is that this decision should be made by the Ukrainian government and the Ukrainian people. If they choose to keep fighting, I, as an American, would support having my tax dollars go towards helping Ukraine defend itself against Russia. I think that it's unfair, and I would be okay spending my money to help defend Ukraine against what I consider to be an invading, oppressive, imperialistic force, which is Russia. But if the Ukrainian people have had too many deaths, too much pain, too much suffering, and they would rather just give up the land and move on, I think that it is absolutely preposterous for anyone, especially in the United States, that has no skin in the game, you have no consequence of your actions whenever you're saying this, to tell them that they should continue dying to fight Russia. It should be their support, one way or another. We're funding another country's war because it is geographically beneficial for the United States to limit Russia expanding its territory and continuing to invade Western forces in Western countries. And the concern is that after Russia already did this once with Crimea, what happens when you have 2 points on a graph? You make a line. So now it's happened twice. That's the problem. Really. Like, I mean, that's it. Why don't you believe Putin wants to stop the war in Ukraine? That he cares for people in Ukraine? I think that Putin does want to stop the war. I think that he privately does. I think the war has, I think it's negative. I think it made Russia look weak, if you want me to be honest. I think that a lot of people going into the war in Ukraine expected Russia to roll over Ukraine in 3 days. That didn't happen. And obviously it didn't happen because American and European interests prevented it from happening. But even with all of that, I think that it's phenomenal and inspiring even, the fact that the Ukrainian people have fought back so bravely against the Russians. I think they have. It's tremendous. And I think it surprised me. It surprised a lot of people. How many of you guys did that? Yeah, how many of you guys expected Russia to just roll them over? I certainly did. Especially when I saw like those jets rolling over, just bombing everything. Exactly, yeah, I thought they were gonna get steamrolled. And so, like, again, I think the decision should be in the hands of the Ukrainian people. That's my viewpoint. That's what I think. Personally, I think they should not give up any land. I think that giving up land is losing. And it's also creating a reward structure for Putin to do it again. But I think that decision is not my decision to make.
It was agreed to by all that the best way to end this conflict is through a full peace deal. There's no doubt about that. I mean, who would be against the fact that tomorrow we came to you and said we have a full peace deal and it's done? I think that's the best way to end the war. Now, whether there needs to be a ceasefire on the way there, well, we've advocated for that. Unfortunately, the Russians, as of now, have not agreed to that.
What a surprise.
But the ideal here, what we're aiming for here is not a ceasefire. What we ultimately are aiming for is an end to this war.
Well, I want to drill down on that exactly and what happened because as you just heard before the meeting with President Putin, President Trump warned there would be...
it will also make Trump look really good if this war gets ended under his watch. I mean, if Trump is able to end this war without Ukraine giving up territory, I think that the amount of capital that people will have to criticize Trump with will go down tremendously. I do. I think that it will actually be like a massive thing for him. Yeah, it won't happen. I don't think it's going to happen either, but I'm saying like theoretically.
Quote, very severe consequences for Russia if it didn't stop the war. Here's a little bit more of what he said on the plane ride over. Take a look.
I want to see a ceasefire rapidly. I don't know if it's going to be today, but I'm not going to be happy if it's not today.
So what exactly changed? Is it that Putin would not agree to a ceasefire?
Well, first of all, the Russians are already facing very severe consequences. So there's not a single sanction that's been lifted. Not one. I mean, they're facing all the same sanctions that have been in place today. All the American support continues for Ukraine. And ultimately, look, we're not going to be able to reach an agreement here.
After it starts in 2 or 3 years, Trump will be seen as a new Chamberlain. I don't think he will because Trump won't be in office and people will... I don't think that's what's going to happen. Like, because again, like that, the reason why that happened is because I think, you know, Neville Chamberlain was still in power when Hitler continued to invade. But he will, maybe, right? I mean, I don't know if he runs again. I don't think Trump's going to run again. I don't think so. I think that there's like a 20% chance Trump runs again, but it's not a probability. It's not a likely probability.
The point, then there are going to be consequences. Not only the consequences of the war continuing, but the consequences of all those sanctions continuing and potentially new sanctions on top of it as well. But what we're trying to do right now is end the war. And in order to end the war, you've got to give every opportunity that exists. You have to be open to any opportunity that exists to bring it about. And here's the thing to remind everybody. And when the president says this is not our war, but let's be frank, this is not our war. The United States is not in a war. Ukraine is in a war. We've been supporting Ukraine. We happen to be in the role of the only country in the world, with the only leader in the world, that can actually bring Putin to a table to even discuss these things. Now, the president has traveled all the way to Alaska, all the way back, has dedicated months and months of work, him, our entire team on this matter, because we want to see an end to the war. But if tomorrow the war continues, life in America will not be fundamentally altered.
That's true.
So I think that what we have to understand is that this has been a priority for this president because he wants to promote peace. He wants to promote the end of a war. And I think we should be happy that we have a president that's trying to promote peace and bring a war to an end.
Mr. Secretary, let's look at the state of the war. It's really captured in this chart. I want to put it up on the screen for our viewers. It shows that Russian attacks on Ukraine have nearly doubled since President Trump came into office. And in fact, in July, Russia launched more than 6,000 missiles and drones. That's the highest amount of attacks since the war began. What do you say to Ukrainians who worry that without a ceasefire in place, you are giving Putin more leverage at the negotiating table?
What do you mean you can't make him do a ceasefire? You can't just say, hey, cut it out. We've had enough of these missiles.
Second chance is over. Table and a green light to drop more bombs.
Well, the problem with that is that we've been asking for a ceasefire for a long period of time. We think usually it's very hard to negotiate when you're in the middle of hostilities. But that said, the only way to have a ceasefire is for both sides to agree to stop firing one another. And the Russians just haven't agreed to that. Beyond that,
they want to just keep bombing them. That's the goal. Like, it's obvious that's what Russia's trying to do. Like, how does anybody not see this?
I would say that one of the complications about ceasefires is they have to be maintained, which is very difficult. I mean, every single day we keep an eye on what's happening between Pakistan and India, what's happening between Cambodia and Thailand. Ceasefires can fall apart very quickly, especially after a 3.5-year war like what we're facing now. But I don't think anyone disagrees that the ideal here, what we're aiming for is not some permanent ceasefire. What we're aiming for here is a peace deal, so there's not a war now and there's not a war in the future.
But why not impose more sanctions on them and force them to agree to a ceasefire instead of
Because, number one, that won't work. It will not guaranteed work. Number two, it makes us adversarial to countries that could be on our side, which would mean that we can't leverage our connection with them anymore. It's just, it's so stupid. Why is this so, what is this? It will not work. It might work, it might not. Why would they want to do that? Like, if they don't have to do that, why would they do it? You're already adversarial? We're not adversarial with India. No, we're not.
accepting that Putin won't agree to one.
Ridiculous thing to say.
Well, first, I think that's something that a lot of people go around saying that I don't necessarily think is true. I don't think new sanctions on Russia are going to force them to accept a ceasefire. They're already under very severe sanctions. I think that it should be, you could argue that that could be a consequence of refusing to agree to a ceasefire or the end of hostility. But there is no evidence that more sanctions, because sanctions take months and sometimes years to bite. And we may very well wind up in that place. I hope not, because that means that peace talks fail. But we have to give every opportunity for peace a chance. And so,
yeah, they don't want to use that. They don't want to play that card.
Keep up the momentum.
Yeah, I don't even get this. You said anything about India? Well, India is one of the countries that is purchasing energy from Russia, is my understanding. China is another one. I'm sure there are others, but those are the top two off the top of my head. I mean, you could say Iran. I'm sure Iran gets energy from Russia, but I think we're already sanctioning Iran 50 different ways.
And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, but the EU can't, as far as I know, the EU can't just get off of Russian energy. Like, that's my understanding. I mean, I'm not an expert in every single thing, okay? But it's not like they can just, okay, we're going to turn off the energy switch from Russia and we're going to turn it on from somewhere else. Logistically, they can't? Yeah. Not instantly, no? Yeah, exactly, right? And so that's the reason why. And so that, again, makes us adversarial and oppositional with an ally, which can overcomplicate the entire thing.
Do here, and so those options remain to the president. The minute he takes those steps.
Hey, Cockroach Boy, why'd you slander us on Piker? Misrepresent his comments about Palestinians' right to defend themselves? I don't know why. Listen, I don't know why Hassan keeps trying to push violence. It's very weird. I don't know why he makes excuses for terrorism. It's very weird. You're unhappy about what I'm saying. That's okay. But the fact is that when Hassan is naming a specific person, when he's naming a specific person, and he's saying this person is justified militarily or as an armed resistance against, this should not be acceptable speech. It's not, and it isn't, by the way, it's not. And also, it's not legal either.
All talk stops. The minute we take those steps, there is no one left in the world to go talk to the Russians and try to get them to the table to reach a peace agreement. So that moment may come. I hope not, because I hope we get a peace deal.
But so, Mr. Secretary, a lot of people have heard Mr. President Trump threaten sanctions for months, and they are wondering, are they empty threats? Why hasn't he punished Putin to date for this war since taking office?
Well, again, every single sanction that was in place on the day he took over remained. And the impact of all those sanctions remain. You know, when the Russians landed in Alaska,
yeah, they still have the sanctions. Like, Russians can't do all kinds of stuff right now. And this has been the case ever since the Ukraine war started. Or a little bit after that, right? I mean, it was a little bit afterwards, but that was about it. But yeah, sure.
They were there to refuel. They had to offer to pay in cash to refuel their airplanes because they can't use our banking system. They face consequences every single day. But the bottom line is that has not altered the direction of this war. That doesn't mean those sanctions are inappropriate. It means it hasn't altered the outcome of it. And here's what we do.